Can you give us a breakdown, Melissa, of like what works with a decoy? So you've done it for a long time, killed a lot of deer. What works and what doesn't?
The biggest thing is you have to get your scent off that decoy. So when you put it out, a lot of times I'll have it kind of quartering to me.
Yeah.
And when I started decoying, I would put it broadside because I thought when a deer comes to fight another deer, they'd want to lock horns,
Right.
and then I'd have the broadside shot. What actually happens is when he's quartering to you, they want to hit him in the ribs. They want to do a cheap shot. They don't actually want to lock antlers. They want to just stab them. So they'll come, and if he's quartering to you, it'll give you that broadside shot as they come in. And the key with decoying is watching their mannerisms. So when a deer is coming into a decoy and he's totally duped, his ears will be completely pinned backwards. His hair is all bristled up, and they're trying to look as big and tough as possible. If at any time those ears flip forward, that means they either heard something, smelled something, like you better be aware. Yeah. But if those ears are pinned back, you have all the time in the world. So a lot of times people will rush it. And the other thing is when they come in, like you have to watch what deer do, because if the wind doesn't change, every deer does almost the exact same thing around that decoy. So what I do is I kind of look at it as like a dress rehearsal. If like a young buck comes in and I didn't have a good shot, I will get down and I will make a change to that setup. So that way the next buck that comes in, I would have that broadside shot. Also, so I spray it down. I use Scent Killer Gold to get my scent off of it. And then if it's legal, I'll pour some scent underneath of it. I'll put some buck scents, or I even will cut off the tarsal glands on a deer and throw them under it, just to add to the realism. I like to do a little rattling, grunting, maybe snort wheeze. But the key there is they hear something, they come in, they see something. The third thing a whitetail will always want to do is they're going to want to smell it. So they've heard it, they see it, they're going to try to get downwind, know where your wind is at all times when you're decoying, because they're going to try to smell that decoy. They get downwind, they smell what they should smell. Now, in my opinion, you've got 3 out of 5 of their senses. You've got them. They commit, and I've had it on big bucks, booners, you name it. They commit in, and you've got your shot. But if it's a deer you want to shoot, do not let them hit your decoy. Get that shot before they hit it. Because what I've found is once they hit that decoy, they know what happened, right? Like something's not right, and they will drop, they will jump the street. I mean, they'll do anything to get out of there. They're all keyed up. And a lot of times they might be standing 40, 50 yards. They're keyed up, and I'll see people take a shot and they drop. Well, they're way too keyed up to be doing that. You need to try to get that shot ahead of time. So there's just like a few little things.
Is there a certain setup that you're looking for, and some that you would like definitely avoid in terms of open, timber, that kind of thing?
I prefer open areas. Like a lot of times I'll do it on food plots, only because of the visibility that they can come in, they can see it. Again, I try to use the rattling, the grunting, snort wheeze to bring them to the edge of that food plot, and then use that visual to get them to seal the deal, really. You can do it in timber too. It's just what I found is it's hard to know where your shots are going to be. You can only have so many lanes. So when timber's pretty thick, sometimes they can come, they can see it, and they're like, and they just kind of skirt out of it. Where on a food plot, they kind of make that commitment to come and fight your decoy, and I feel like you have a better chance.
Gotcha. Is there a preferred brand of decoy you use?
Not necessarily. You just got to find one that looks realistic.
Yeah.
The realism is key. The number one thing, and I have no idea, and I'm not going to call any decoy manufacturers out, but if you buy a decoy and his ears are forward, you have a problem.
No good.
Right? So I tell people in my seminars, let's say you bought a decoy and his ears are forward, literally cut them off and glue them on backwards. Because there's no deer in nature that comes in to fight your decoy with his ears forward. They don't. I can show you all the videos. So you want to find something that looks like the hair is bristled up and the ears are pinned back.
Interesting.
I want to say most of the ones I've ever used, the ears are generally like,
they're just like stick on, like they are in like an alert position. They surely aren't back. But
you do not want them in that alert position. Put them backwards.
Yeah.
So like we bought some Dave Smith, and I think they look great. And you can put the ears in backwards. That's how we do.
The original ones weren't though.
I've had some at some point. I can definitely say I've hunted over a decoy where they were like this.
Yeah.
And I don't think they ever worked.
Which makes a lot of sense of why it didn't work.
Mid-October is surprising. I'm like terrified that they're not dumb enough at that point to like realize to commit. You know what I mean? I think just my opinion, and I haven't decoyed them nearly. I don't think as much as you have, but like I would be pretty terrified to do that anytime before even November 1st. I'm like, they're just not there yet at that level of like eyes rolling back in their head type of thing, you know?
It depends on the buck, and it depends on their dominance. In my opinion, the more dominant buck does not want anybody in his area, and then he surely doesn't want anyone in his area that's posturing to him with his hair bristled up and his ears pinned back. He's not just another deer standing there. He's like basically telling him, giving him the finger in his own area, right?
Yeah.
And so a lot of times those deer, they just will not put up with that, and they want to come and fight it. And I've actually pulled bucks off of a hot doe during the rut to come fight my buck because they can't handle another buck in their area. And it's amazing how well it can work. But I see what you're saying. And yeah, they may not be as, as ramped up, but a lot of times it's like that idea of that fight. They just can't help themselves. You know?
I would assume
they just hate that it's the idea of it bristled up and the ears pinned back.
For sure.
Because they don't know if there's a hot doe there, that this one's posturing.
Yeah.
It's a believability factor. It's like, because October 1st, they are smart enough to look at that thing and be like, it looks like a deer, but I'm not sure if it is. October 15th might be the tipping point where they're like, I'm willing to test it, because he's pissing me off.
I think it definitely has a lot to do with that deer's personality, right? Because we've all seen deer that are giants, but they're not fighters, right? Like they just, that's just their personality, right? Not saying that they won't respond to calls and stuff, but they're not out there looking for fight. You see other ones where every time you see them, it looks like they just beat the hell out of someone.
And you'll see it late season too, because I've had deer that have been beat up so badly that they're like very cautious to come into a decoy.
Yeah.
So one thing I do late season, I'll remove one of the antlers on my buck. And what that does is it makes him look a little bit like an easier target.
Yeah.
And some of those who have been beat up are like, I guess I could take this guy. He's missing a whole side. And what you'll also find is when you take off a side, they'll always try to hit him in the ribs on that side. So I use it sometimes to kind of adjust where I want those deer coming based on where my best shot is. I'll remove that side of the antler and they'll come in broadside on that side.
It's interesting to hear you say that they want to stab them in the side. Like I've known that does happen, but when I've watched hunts where guys are decoying and stuff, I was always under the impression that they're just sidestepping and they're expecting eventually to end up in a position of being locked up. Do you see that?
No, I have all the videos where they actually, when they hit my decoy, every one of them hit them right into the ribs.
Wow.
Can't wait to hear people tell you that you don't know what you're talking about, Melissa, on this clip.
Cool. I wish everybody the best of luck. You can put your decoy out with your ears forward and paint it purple.
Yeah, good luck.
That's cool. I'll hunt next to you and set mine up.
It's a cool thing because, just like I said about the calling, like you clearly have confidence in that technique. And honestly, I think that's probably half the battle. Like if I carried a decoy out there, I'm like, boy, I have no confidence in that thing. That I'm already a step behind, right? Whereas if you go out and you have confidence in what you're doing and the setup and how you're going to draw them into the area, I mean, that's a huge part of the battle. We hear that all the time with, guys who are like, man, I'm just not sure about snort wheezing at a deer. And it's like, if you've never snort wheezed at one and had it respond like you want, I see that, right? Because there's no confidence. There's no example that's been let out to say, hey, this is how it works and this is how you're going to be successful.
Take me